Welcome back to Autofunk and part 4 of our barn find Corvette resurrection, and this one's been a proper roller coaster. If you're just tuning in, we rescued this rare 1990 C4 after it spent 30 years asleep in a British barn. And it's not just any C4 either, it's got the ZF 6-speed manual, full Z51 handling pack and electronic damping. It's one of the sharpest Corvettes you could get back then, aside from the ZR1 of course, which we also rescued last year, because apparently we've got a thing for saving unloved American muscle. In episode 1 we dragged it out of hiding and hauled it home. In part 2 we gave it a serious wash and somehow got it running. And in part 3 we sorted the brakes, fuel system and gave it fresh fluids. And then right at the end it refused to start. Again, classic.
Start again.
I'll leave it a minute. So, in today's episode, we sort out a few final gremlins, chase down the no start issue once and for all, and then, the big moment, we take it for an MOT. Will it pass, or did we accidentally buy a fiberglass lemon with a V8? Stick around, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's find out. It's another sunny day in Nottingham, and we're back on the drive with our Corvette C4 barn find. I absolutely love working on this car. It's been a complete pleasure, not without its issues, which if you've seen the previous episode, you'll be aware of. But essentially, we took it out of the barn after 30 years of layup. It's only a 29,000 mile car. It's got a manual 6-speed ZF transmission, and it's got some great optional extras. And being a really low mileage car, we just had to save it. And do you know something? Underneath all the dirt, I can tell this is going to be a beautiful car. We've obviously got to get the wheels refurbished and get new tyres fitted and stuff. But as you know, it's not without its issues. We've got this fault where it will start on the button and run really smoothly, and then after it warms up it cuts out. So I'm hoping to address that today. I've already started doing one job. I've made an executive decision. I am going to drain this tank. I don't think that fuel's doing it any good at all. So I've got my suction pump, Torx screwdriver to undo these. This comes out. The fuel pump will come out, so I'll show you what that looks like. If it looks really rough, we can change the fuel pump. Not today because I don't have one, but at least we know that it looks like it might need changing. And yeah, gonna get the fuel out. I'm gonna see how much is in it. I think there's about 30 litres, and I'm hoping that I've got enough storage in my big drum. This thing. Right, extraction of the pump. And as suspected, it's been fully submerged in the fuel, which I think it saved its life. But oh my god, look at that. That is like a brand new fuel pump. I cannot believe how nice that is. Wow. Okay, so that's one thing we don't need to worry about. Holy moles. Just perfect pins, and the same on the car side. That is unbelievable. That just looks like it looks like brand new. I can't believe it. Anyway, what's not brand new is what lurks inside the tank. And needless to say, just in case of emergency, I've got water on standby. And I'm being very cautious to not use metal implements around spilt fuel and things like that. So safety first, people. We are dealing with fuel, so if you're doing this yourself, be very, very careful. These are a 10 litre container, that's about half full, and I've taken the first 10 litres out. So at the moment, I've taken about 15 litres out, and I can still see plenty in the tank. So let's carry on and see how much we can suck out. I'm thinking I may as well just empty it. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this, but the tank is more or less empty now, and I've removed a grand total of 25 litres. So yeah, basically about half a tank, or just under half a tank's worth. So what we're going to do now is put some fresh fluid in it, and hopefully, mamma mia, it should run like a peach, we hope. And to finish, bit of rust converter, because why not? It's just going to help keep on top of all of the surface corrosion that you can see on here. And then once the rust converter's gone off, I'm going to clean all this down. And I'm also going to take this and give it a good wash with some soapy water. Should all be a nice little job, that, and then we can get some fresh fuel in it. We're all reassembled. Everything's had a bit of a clean down. This hasn't. So we're going to take that off and maybe give it a sand and maybe a fresh coat of paint or something to tidy it up. 22 litres of E5 is in the tank, and we've got rid of all the old fuel, well 99% of the old fuel. So let's see if it starts and see how it runs. Hopefully it is only just a fueling issue. If it's not, because we know that the fuel pump's good, it's likely to be the injectors or something to do with the ECU. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So we'll start it now and see what happens. Wow, straight up. So I'm going to leave it idling for a few minutes and I'll give you an update shortly. And that seemed to make a difference, but the truth and the reality of the matter is the fault is still there. So unbelievably, I don't think it was the old fuel that was causing the issue. Now, it might be the throttle position sensor, so it could be that because it's not been used for ages, the throttle position sensor is not really calibrated properly or something like that. It could be to do with spark or ignition, but we just don't know. I suspect, and I could be wrong, and maybe I'm just clutching onto straws here, but I think after a long journey, you know, after running the car for a few miles, it might just sort itself out and the ECU might recalibrate all its parameters or do whatever it needs to do, and I reckon that fault will go away, because I actually don't think there's much wrong with it mechanically. What we're going to do in this episode is we're going to take it for an MOT, and I think it will fail. It's definitely going to fail on the tyres. We've got a new set of tyres on order, but unfortunately they've had a delay with those, so we've not managed to get them fitted in time for the MOT. It's going to fail on the rear lights, I'm sure, but having an MOT is going to do two things. One, it's going to enable us to legally drive the car. The MOT station's about 10 miles away, and we can legally drive the car to and from an MOT. If you don't know what an MOT is, by the way, it's basically an annual health check that we have in the UK. It's a bit like the TUV test in Europe. So you pay £40 or €50, $50, and it goes on a ramp, and the MOT inspector gives it a good look over and make sure there's no issues. So the MOT is going to give us a health check, and it's going to allow us to legally drive the car there and back. Hopefully it's going to make it in one piece. As you've already seen, I've put 22 litres of fresh E5 super unleaded in the tank, and yeah, if we can make it there and get the health check done, it's going to be happy days. Like I said, I don't think it's going to pass. I think it's going to fail on the tyres, and I think it's going to fail on the lights. But we have got a few things to do before the MOT to try and help it. Basic functionality: wipers, horn, lights, apart from, you know, the US spec, but do all the lights work, stuff like that. I'm going to look at the power steering fluid, and I might have the dizzy cap off and just have a look at the rotor arm, see if there's any evidence of like water ingress in the distributor or something like that. But yeah, also we had a fault with one of the seat bolsters, which I've repaired. I'm going to insert some footage of how I did that now. This bolster is completely detached. It's an electric bolster. What happens on these is there's a rivet securing the two little arms on the back of the bolster to the motor assembly. And what I've done, well, you can just about see it, I've installed a machine screw with a lock nut on the bottom that goes all the way through the bracket. So no more rivets, and that should, well, it has, there's no play in it, it's cured it. Another job done. Backrest back on. I'm going to call that a perfect repair. So that was a really nice fix. And actually, you know something? I noticed that this one is a little bit loose. It's still on, but I reckon the rivets are a bit stretched on that one. So a future job is going to be to fix that one as well. But we'll probably do it off camera. And the other thing is the backrest motor, which is this switch here, doesn't appear to work. So I'm going to try and do something with that now. And I'm going to start with the switch. I think the motor's probably going to be okay. This switch works, but it could be that we've got some corrosion in the switch, so I'm hoping for that. So I'm just going to unscrew the switch and see if I can see any evidence of corrosion. They are supposed to have a little capacitor in this switch, and it could be that that's frazzled itself, or it's dead or missing, or God knows. But I don't think the car's been interfered with too much, so we're hoping that the originality is going to save our asses here. Well, I'm going to bring you in. Can you see that green on there? That's quite a bit of built-up corrosion, and weirdly, the other switch on the right-hand side doesn't have that. And I can't see any evidence of any capacitor. So I think what I'm going to do is pop this switch out, dismount it from the housing, take it all to bits, clean all the contacts and see if that cures it. If not, then I'm going to test the motor. And to take the switch out, all you have to do is just remove the bottom squab, which sounds like a mammoth task. But on a C4, genius, user-friendly engineering means that you don't need any tools to remove the seat squab. All you've got is a little tab there. You pull the tab down and the seat pops out, so I'm going to do that now. That's it. And if you want to have a look under the seat squab, it all looks nice and tidy. You can see the wires from the switch are under here, and they're just on connectors. I don't know which one's which actually, so I'm going to disconnect both. Interesting design, this. Luckily, all looks good. There we go. Condition of that connector is quite good. And then the black one. It's nice that they're all colour coded, isn't it? There we go. So that should just pull out now. It's not even cable tied in or anything. 1, 2, and that's the switch pack out. So I'm going to disassemble this off camera. I'm going to clean this up, and hopefully we'll have a working backrest. That'd be a really nice little fix, wouldn't it? How does that come out then? Well, this is a little bit difficult to film, but you can see the copper rocker there is in a right old mess, and the inside of the switch pack is really, really grimy. So I'm going to clean that out, sand off these brush things again a bit, and make sure that the contacts are all nice and clean. And who knows, with a bit of luck, it might actually work. And that bit on the end there, that's where the capacitor goes. And I'm thinking, looking at the wiring, that you probably don't need that. I would imagine it's just to smooth out the voltage a little bit and try and get rid of some of the jitter. I'm hoping that just a simple clean is going to fix this. So let's do that now. That's a marked improvement. That's going to be at least good enough to test whether it's working. Do need to spend a bit more time on it, but yeah, I'm going to reassemble it now, and hopefully, who knows, it might work. I can't find the missing capacitor, and I don't know really where it's supposed to go. I found a leg of it inside here, so it did exist. Anyway, I'm going to plug it in and see if we've fixed our fault. And if not, it's going to be back to the drawing board. Will we have backrest action? Yes! Right, works in one... Oh, hang on. It's working. I think I just need to do a bit more cleaning on the switch. Right, I'm going to do that off camera. She's working. Yeah. Oh, I love an easy fix. Happy with that. So I'm going to get the seat reassembled and move on to the next job. Don't you think the easy fixes are so satisfying? It almost makes it worth going through the pain of all of the arduous, shittier fixes, like why our car keeps cutting out, but hopefully we'll be able to sort that out. Next job on the list, wipers, wiper blades, and washer fluid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refill the washer fluid, some nice fresh fluid from Halfords, but first I'm going to suck the old fluid out with my trusty fuel extraction pump. And the reservoir is just down here. We'll have a look at what it looks like. I'd imagine it's going to be pretty filthy. So I'm going to suck that out first. Let's have a look at the rubbers. Now, you won't believe this, but the rubbers are really good on the wipers. Something that you really have to be careful with on cars that have been stood for ages is you can scratch the screen really easily if the wipers have grit on them. Basically, you dry wipe and end up just scratching grit into the glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a load of washer fluid directly onto the glass for now and give the wipers and the glass a bit of a clean. Make sure that all the rubber's clean and there's no grit, so we can't scratch this lovely original screen. And then we'll suck the fluid out and refill it. And we haven't even tested the wiper motor because we didn't want to scratch the screen basically, so I wanted to clean all the rubbers and everything first to make sure that we're not going to cause damage. But I mean, they're dirty. I just can't understand how well preserved this car is. It makes no sense to me. Like the fact that it's been sat for 30 years and looks like it doesn't even need wiper blades. How is that even possible? Cool, right, that's safely free of any grit now. And these transfer pumps are super handy. They're useful for all sorts of applications, but mostly we empty fuel tanks with them. And this one's held up really well. It's stayed almost in as new condition. Anyway, let's get this washer fluid out. It looks clear. I was expecting it to be absolutely disgusting. That was about 2 litres that was in there, so let's get the new stuff in. I'm brimming it because I'm going to flush all the lines out by running the pump for a while. They could be blocked, but we'll see. So let's see what happens, shall we? Well, the wipers work and we have some fluid. Shall we call that fixed? I think we will do. I'd like to say that I'm surprised that they're working, but actually I'm not. One thing I might do is I might just use a little pin just to prick out the jet holes a little bit more. But yeah, another job done. The next thing that I need to look at are the horns. So there's twin horns on this car. There's one here and one down in just underneath that headlight. This one's working, but this one isn't working. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to unbolt it and see if I can clean it out and give it a tap with a hammer and see if I can fix it. If I can't, it's not going to fail the MOT because the horn does work, but I would like to have them both working. See, I've actually disconnected it here, but it's just one bolt for that carrier, and yeah, I'm going to whiz it off and see if I can fix it. Now I'm hoping I can take this apart or give it a bit of a tap with a hammer and clean up the inside of it, and I'm hoping that I can fix it. If not, I'll have to replace it, but it shouldn't be an MOT failure anyway, because I still have got the working horn on that side. Right, there's not actually much that I can do with this because it's a sealed unit, but I've given it a few taps, and sometimes that can get horns working again. If it doesn't work, it's not an MOT failure, it's not the end of the world, but let's put it back on and see what happens. The bolt seemed a little bit loose, so whether or not that was causing a grounding issue, I don't know. Because they are grounded through the bolt, so in theory it might not have had a good connection and that could have been stopping it from working. But let's get it back on and see anyway. Well, that looks like it's come back to life, so I'm going to plug the other side in and listen to them both. Another little fix done for free. Happy days. The next little job on the list is I'm going to suck out some of the clutch fluid and put some fresh in there. Ideally, I'd like to bleed the clutch and maybe even change the slave cylinder, but for now, just putting some fresh fluid in the reservoir is going to help. And I'd like to do the same with the power steering fluid, which is just down here. But I don't have any power steering fluid, so I'm going to have to do that another day. But if you look at the colour of that and the smell of it, it actually looks quite decent and the level's okay. So that will be a job for another day. But to do this with the clutch fluid, just got to take this cover off the ECU, unbolt the ECU, which gives me nightmares about the ZR1. And if you've been watching the episodes on the ZR1, you'll know why. Carefully remove it out of the way, and that reveals the clutch fluid reservoir, which is just down here. Be interesting to see what the fluid looks like in it. It's probably never been changed from the factory. Yeah, and being honest, it really doesn't look great, so I'm going to suck that out now. You can see the colour of that, it's absolutely awful. I think what I'll do is I'll top it up, suck some out, and then top it up again. Look at that. I think the whole thing wants flushing through, but just changing what's in the reservoir is going to help for now. Cool. Okay, that's that. And I've spilt a tiny bit of the fluid. It's brake fluid, so it can corrode paintwork and stuff. So I'm just going to use a quick bit of detailing spray just to spritz down any areas where I've spilt some brake fluid. Because it's quite corrosive. A little bit on the tyre there as well, actually. So I know that that's not a perfect fix for the clutch fluid, and obviously we've still got to do the power steering fluid, but it's just going to help give me a little bit more confidence when we're driving it. ECU can go back on, and that's another job done, apart from this. And the next thing that I'm going to check, and I know it sounds really basic, but believe it or not, a lot of people don't check it regularly, and it is quite often the cause for a really silly MOT failure, is I'm just going to check that all the light bulbs are working. So let's do that now. Rears are all looking good, so let's have a look at the fronts. And that's a simple check, but a lot of people just don't do that regularly. Happy to say that all the bulbs are working fine, so that's another one less thing to worry about. Right, news just in. I've just had a phone call from the tyre shop and they can fit the tyres today, so I'm going to head over there and get the tyres fitted. Next time you see me, I'll be back on the drive with a set of brand new tyres. Yes! And obviously this means that my first drive is going to be to the tyre shop, which is just at the top of the road, So I'm not going to do any filming in the car, but when I get back, I'll let you know how it goes. Cross your fingers for me that I'm not going to have any issues. Right, wish me luck, guys. I'm actually quite nervous. She started though. Not got a very long journey to go, so I'm going to hit the road. I don't want to mess around leaving it idling, because I think when it idles, that's when it cuts out. So I'm just going to nurse it over to the tyre shop now, and fingers crossed all goes well, and we'll be back on the drive very soon with 4 brand new tyres. I'm here. It was a fairly uneventful drive. Tyres definitely feel like they're flat spotted, so urgently need doing. In my excitement, I forgot to put the hood down, so needed to do that, which added to the panic slightly. Clutch and everything all felt good. Brakes felt slightly spongy, like they might need a little bit more bleeding. But on the whole, fingers crossed, it was all right. Look, we're outside the tyre shop. Right, we're back from the tyre shop. 4 new tyres fitted. We've gone for Nankang NS2s, which are a budget tyre, but the only tyre sizes available, which is a 275 40/17, are from Nankang at 115 quid a corner, or Michelin at £500 a corner. So we've opted for the Nankangs. I don't think they're a bad tyre. They've got decent reviews. The sidewall's not the sexiest. Obviously we're getting the wheels refurbished. That's going to happen in a future video. But now it's MOT time, and I'm going to jump into the car and drive it around 10 miles to the MOT test station. I'm going to set up a little GoPro and have a chat with you in the car. Apologies in advance if the audio is bad, but yeah, I'm in a little bit of a rush. I'm up against the clock. So we're going to take it for an MOT, and hopefully it'll get there in one piece. And I think it's probably highly likely that it's going to fail, but what's going to be on that failure sheet is going to be the interesting part. So yeah, you're going to join me from the car very soon. Right then, let's go. Wish me luck, people. We've got about 10 miles to do. So obviously this is not the first drive, because we did take it to the tyre shop, but that's literally a mile down the road, and I very tentatively drove it just to get it there in one piece, and basically get the tyres fitted, and then again drive it home tentatively, being very careful of course not to crash the car or do anything. So we're on the road in the Corvette after 30 years of not being used. Apologies if the audio is bad. I've got a GoPro with no external mic. Got about a 10-mile journey to the MOT station, so I'm going to take it nice and gently. Not going to thrash the car. I'm just going to allow it to gently warm up and hopefully get it there in one piece. First impression so far is it seems surprisingly okay. Brakes are good, clutch and gearbox and everything feels fine. The steering feels good. Feels fairly sort of stiff, I guess you'd say. I've not noticed any play in any of the bushes or anything. There's no clonking. Time's going to tell, of course, because we need to get some miles under this car's belt and properly shake it down over a long period of testing it. But first impressions were all good. Power delivery's all right. You know what? It's actually quite refined. Obviously, the only baseline that we've got in terms of drivability is the ZR1, which is a very different beast. But it certainly doesn't feel unpleasant kind of feels just like a car, to be honest. Anyway, let's get to the test station, get it on the ramp. Cruising along at 70 now, quite nicely. A little bit of wind noise from the seals. I think the seals probably need a bit of moisturising. The aircon doesn't work, so it's quite hot in here. But yeah, very, very pleasant. Quite confidence inspiring, actually. I was worried that it'd feel like an utter wreck, but it really, really doesn't. I have to say, this is a great GT car. There's no doubt about it. You could drive this thing for miles. It's so comfortable. I've got it in sport at the moment, the damping. So I'll move it to tour and see if that works. Yeah, that's definitely getting softer. The road that I'm driving on is a concrete road. We have concrete roads in parts of the UK and they're horrible. So I can hear a lot of vibration from the concrete. I'm going to put it to performance and see if that stiffens it up. And it does. Feels good. I'm impressed. It's not a great deal to report. There now, and all is good. I've got nothing to criticise. It's just done its job. Right, I've arrived at the MOT station. Happy to report, all was good on the journey. I think it was 10 or 12 miles. Most of it I was just cruising at 70 miles an hour. Just nothing to report. The aircon doesn't work and it's a hot day, so it's bloody warm in there. The tracking, if I'm going to really be hypercritical, feels like it's like a degree out. Could have been like that before it was parked up, but we can easily rectify that. Everything else, gearbox, brakes, electronics, all perfect. The windows work, the mirrors work. It's comfortable, it's quiet. The active ride control selector all works fine. So now we've got to get it in the MOT station for a test. And for me, it's just a waiting game. Let's see what happens. I can't film while I'm in there, while the test is taking place, but I am allowed to film under the car. You've probably seen in previous videos, I'm allowed to film under the car after the test. So while it's still on the ramp, I'll get some footage of the underneath of it so we can have a look at that. Wish us luck, guys. I know it's going to be a failure list. It's highly likely to be a failure list, but the content of that list and what's in it is what's important, and we can work through, and any issues that are highlighted we can resolve. Let's see how it goes. I'm a little bit nervous. Here's a look underneath the car while it's up on the MOT ramp, and honestly, for a 35-year-old Corvette, it's in superb condition. No major rust, no nasty surprises, and everything looks impressively clean and solid. It's only done 29,000 miles from new, so it makes sense, but it's still a relief to see the structure holding up this well after so long in storage. We're also considering giving it the full ice blasting treatment, just like we did with the ZR1, to really bring out those original finishes and shift the built-up grind. What do you reckon? Spot anything we've missed under here? Drop us a comment if you see something we should look at. It's always good to have extra eyes on it. It's quite nice and talky, this car. No, it doesn't feel like it, does it? What the f*** is that? A McDonald's bag?
I thought it was a football originally.
I thought it was a football.
Like, and some kid come running out.
Yeah.
Flat and into flat. At least he got flat.
Right, take my glasses off. We've been for an MOT, and I can't believe it, it's passed. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how's it passed with the rear lights as they were? Truth be told, I decided to not mention anything to the MOT tester about the rear lights. I thought I'm going to let him draw his own conclusions and do what he wants to do. And I didn't witness the MOT. You've seen the footage of the underneath of the car and it looks really clean. So we'll talk about that later. But I didn't witness the MOT, I just left him to it, and he didn't even mention anything about the rear lights, so I reckon he's just assumed, oh, it's an old car and God knows. But we've got a pass, a clean pass with no advisories, and he couldn't believe how clean it was underneath. So, couldn't fault it on anything. And the emissions, the hydrocarbons, were 0.02%. So basically it's like pumping out fresh air. 1990 V8 American car, and it's probably more efficient, you know, more friendly to the environment than my Defender. But yeah, there we go. Couldn't resist just pulling into the car park on the way home, and I'm going to take some glamour shots of it now before I take it back. Annoyingly, we still can't drive it for a while because we've got to wait for the new logbook to come through, and there's a bit of a process involved with that because the old logbook was lost decades ago and we can't tax it without the logbook, so that's a bit of a frustration. But I'm just so happy now it's legal, so we can do all the cool bits to it, like get the wheels refurbished, give it a really good detail. We might upgrade the brake flexes. The brake flexes are actually okay, and the brake test results on the MOT were really strong. So there's nothing wrong with the brakes, but it'd be nice to just fit some flexes, change the diff fluid, change the gearbox fluid, change the clutch fluid, etc. But yeah, it's on the road and it's legal, and I absolutely cannot believe it. So what do you think? Are you surprised? Let us know in the comments. We're certainly surprised because I was more or less, you know, I'd resigned myself to the fact that it was going to fail, but amazing, just amazing. So that almost brings us to the end of this week's episode, but we've still got one question to answer, and that is, did driving the car to and from the MOT repair that running fault? Remember the fault at the start where you'd run the car and let it idle and it'd cut out? Well, before we answer that question, I just want to take this time to say I really appreciate you guys watching, subscribing and supporting the channel with all the comments and everything. It's great to see the interactivity, and we're absolutely loving the Corvette appreciation here in the UK. I think we're fairly unique. I know we're only a small channel, but there's hardly any Corvette content in the UK YouTube space. What we really want to do is we've got a goal to get over 20,000 subscribers. We're so close to that goal now. We're on like 19,900 and something. We really want to tick over the 20,000 subs. It'd mean a lot to us. So if you really want to support us in a completely free and easy way, hit that subscribe button now and help us reach that target of 20,000 subs. Done it? Thank you. And now I can reveal that, you guessed it, another massive stroke of luck with this car that really is the gift that keeps on giving. it runs fine. There's absolutely no issues. We think that because of the heat cycling and the ECU having a chance to sort itself out after 30 years of no use, it's just kind of corrected all of its settings and everything. And the car is driving absolutely wonderfully. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe for more updates. We're doing loads more with this car. Even though we're over the hill now, we've still got to do a deep clean on the interior, deep clean on the bodywork, paint correction. We're going to get these wheels re-diamond cut. We're going to go over every little niggle, the air conditioning, the radio not working, all of these little annoying faults are all going to be rectified. And you'll see that very soon. There's going to be another video next Monday. Hope you enjoyed this one. Keep watching, keep leaving the comments, ask us questions, give us feedback, tell us what we're doing wrong, tell us what you liked, etc. And yeah, we'll see you around for the next video. Cheers.
She waited in silence, under dust and decay, forgotten by time, just wasting away. But we found her again, that C4 machine, a Z51 6-speed dream from a 90s American scene.